Grassy plains, and the dark depths of the oceans to meet and learn surprising facts about the magnificent animals that live there.
Jeffrey has struggled with being masculine for all of his life. He's had a lack of drive and purpose and mission. He has no aggression inside of him. He's more like a coward. He can't seem to sit down and focus on his work. For all the porn that Jeffrey watches, he still has a low sex drive. His body accumulates fat more in the places that women would, like his hips and breasts. But worst of all, Jeffrey does nothing to even try to improve. Adonis. Adonis is a masculine man full of testosterone. His muscle mass is high, his body fat percentage is low, his libido is through the roof. This is a way that a man should feel. The testosterone courses through his veins, and because of that, Adonis can sit down and focus on his work. Exactly how a man should live. This may be the first time in history that a lot of young men, teenagers, men in their 20s have got low testosterone. Now, fair enough, you know what? I'm just going to be brutally fucking insulting here. The majority of men deserve this. The majority of men deserve to have low testosterone because they live like idiots. They live like Jeffries. They go to sleep at like 3 a.m. They eat lots of sugar. They just drink. Like they literally just sat there inside of their homes and they just fucking drink alcohol, bro. If these guys are doing that, they deserve to have fucked up health. They deserve to have fucked up hormones. That's not me being like insulting or disrespectful or horrible. Everything is cause and effect. And if you are doing particular actions, you deserve the particular consequences of that. So there's certain guys, like a big majority of guys who are living like idiots, who deserve to have ill health symptoms. But the sad reality is that there's a lot of guys who are actually doing the right things. You're on self-improvement. You've been trying to improve your sleep. You're exercising. You're lifting heavy weights. You're not eating as much sugar or processed foods. You barely even drink. So why are your testosterone levels lower than every other man in your entire bloodline? What should you do about it? Chances are you're watching this video on testosterone. You've probably watched a bunch of other videos on testosterone too. And I remember when I was like doing some research, you know, you get into those moods where you're somewhat like really obsessed over a certain thing. So at one point it's sleep. Another point is like, you know, the perfect workout routine. And right now it's testosterone. When I was currently like obsessed over testosterone, I would watch, you know, you search for it on YouTube, you watch all these videos which say like, oh, the benefits of testosterone, how to raise your testosterone naturally. And they all say the same things. And it was so anticlimactic when I'd watch this video hoping to get some new information. And it would literally just say like, yep, the ways to improve your testosterone are to sleep and to lift heavy weights and to have a clean diet and not drink. And yeah, that's about it. And then they'd give you every now and then, it's like, oh, well, you can buy my ashwagandha supplement and like a link in the description. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Like all these motherfuckers, bro, such a sensitive topic, and all these like YouTubers were trying to sell me shit when I was sat there with fucking titty mass, bro. I'm making this video right now to like, you know, teach you how to get higher testosterone. My levels with like, I didn't ever get tested when I was a teenager. I got tested recently. We'll talk about that. But when I was a teenager, I was way, way, way more feminine. And, you know, this could potentially be incorrect, but chances are that my estrogen when I was going through puberty was way higher than it should have been, and my testosterone was way lower. So I was one of the unlucky few, about 40 to 50% of men who developed literal fucking breast mass through puberty. So through puberty, essentially, if you've got like, you know, great genetics and everything's going right, you should be pumped full of testosterone. You should start to look like a young man. At age 16, you should start getting like facial hair, muscle mass, deeper voice. At age 16, I still look like a little boy, and suddenly I started getting like man boobs, even though I wasn't like fat. And the majority of young men, like 50% of young men, can relate to this. Visualize that in your mind right now. Visualize boys, like teenage boys, all around the world, and like 50% of them are developing breast mass, like literally what's supposed to happen to women. Why are our hormone levels so fucked up? I remember feeling so fucking self-conscious. I didn't wear normal clothes for a while because my man boobs were fucking showing. There was time, like I remember this one time I wore an orange t-shirt. I was age 17 and one of my friends pointed it out in front of everyone. Oh, you can see Hamza's nipples through his shirt, and it's like they were poking out and they were like sensitive and shit, like when you're growing like titty. Fucking hell, bro. How fucked is that when you really think about it? The time that we should have been growing muscle and becoming more masculine, we should have been pumped full of testosterone. Something is very, very, very wrong in modern society. And there's 10 different reasons why we could go with, there's estrogen in the plastics of like the water bottles, and there's shit in the air, or there's too many things, and it's very stressful to talk about this, especially with those sort of like big societal things like, oh, well, there's estrogen in the tap water and in plastics, and that feels somewhat unavoidable, and in soaps and shampoos and even in toothpaste and all this like random shit that's negatively affecting our hormones. It's a very, very sad reality for modern young men. I remember even age 17, 18 being on YouTube, like trying to search for answers, and this is the first time I was like really getting into lifting, and you hear that when you're lifting weights you need testosterone to build muscle, so you want more testosterone, and you're trying to research how. And I literally remember going through those videos which said the benefits of testosterone, or the symptoms of low testosterone. And you might be able to relate to this. When they would talk about the symptoms of low testosterone, I had this like feeling of insecurity, humiliation, embarrassment, as they list negatives of low testosterone. So it was like, you'll develop breast mass, you'll be less manly, you'll develop like higher body fat percentage, and you'll struggle gaining muscle, and you'll have lower drive and libido, and all this like, and brain fog, and all these like negative symptoms. I would be sat there whilst they're listing that, feeling so fucking humiliated, because that symbolized my experience. Maybe it was a testosterone issue, maybe not, but like, I can tell you something very personal. When I started having sex when I was age 19, 20, and I was like, being a party fuckboy, and I was going out to like parties and clubs, and I was hooking up with girls, for more than 10 girls, imagine bringing 10 different, over the course of months, like bringing, kissing a girl and everything, bringing her back to your place, you've done like the hard work, you're ready to have sex with her, and you literally can't even get fucking hard. You have got like a girlfriend, and you literally struggle to stay hard with her. If there's one thing like you're supposed to do as a man, obviously like there's other things and everything, but like the one thing that symbolizes us, come on, truthfully, is like our dick. It means a lot to us being able to like get hard and have like a healthy penis. And we're not supposed to, I'm weird as fuck for talking about this. We're not supposed to talk about this as guys, are we? We're supposed to keep it quiet and just fucking kill ourselves instead. There's a lot of people watching this, a lot of fucking Jeffreys, like judgmental motherfuckers watching this, who are like making fun of me and laughing at me right now. Oh, he couldn't get hard, he had mental health problems, yeah. And then when it's like Men's Mental Health Month, these motherfuckers will post it on Instagram like, oh, make sure you just shut the fuck up. You care about men's mental health, we've got to talk about these sensitive topics, because it's these topics, talks of testosterone, talks of like sex, which is the reason why men have mental health problems, because we're not allowed to talk about these things, because we'll get judged by dumbasses, by Jeffreys, by hostile, aggressive bullies. There were certainly psychological problems at the time when, I was having sex and my dick wasn't getting hard with a bunch of girls. Certainly, I had levels of like performance anxiety, but 100% there was also testosterone issues at the time, and like elevations of estrogen. And, there's going to be some nerd critiquing me right now and saying, oh, well, actually, it's estradiol. Oh, shut the fuck up, okay? We're going to talk in like simple, understandable ways, because we aren't scientists here. So I've run about a journey for the last 6 to 9 months, which I think you might be interested in. I got my testosterone checked in 2021, near the end of the year, in October, and then also in November. So about a 30-day gap in between. And both of the results were actually pretty much exactly the same. The big like data, and I'd have to explain it and everything. It's kind of complicated, because testosterone's way more complicated than just like what your testosterone number was. So mine was like 444 nanograms per deciliter. But you need to understand like a bunch of other nerdy shit. But we'll just go with the assumption that generally whatever your total testosterone is, generally will show you like a good understanding of everything else. And of course, like you've got to look into like free test and these complicated shit. We're just going to go with the total number, because we aren't scientists, and we're just kind of assume that it relates to the symptoms that we're talking about. So my total testosterone in October and also in November was around 440 nanograms per deciliter, which I was told was in the healthy range. When I talked about that online, people criticized me. I literally made a video saying I want more testosterone. People who were like more plates, more dates, that big YouTuber, he criticized me. A bunch of his fans criticized me. A bunch of people called me crazy for saying that I wanted more testosterone because I was in the normal range. The normal range in the UK, or in most countries, in Western countries, is between 250 nanograms to around 950. If you are in the middle of this, you're deemed healthy. Shut the fuck up. Go live your life. Kill yourself. We don't give a fuck. Mine was 440. I was in the normal range, but they don't tell you that the range is based up of like men of all ages and healths. So the number that I got, the testosterone that was inside of my blood, was normal and healthy for probably a 50 to 60-year-old. But because of these like bullshit kind of sexist like standards, I was deemed healthy and normal. And I'm crazy for wanting to improve my testosterone levels. Think about how fucked that is, and think about the worst part of this is that there's no solidarity with this. That like we should rise up together as brothers and say like, yeah, that is unacceptable. That there's all these like soft motherfuckers who are like nerds talking about like, oh no, but it's in the healthy range, and you need to like shut the fuck up. Always consult your doc. Shut the fuck up. My doctor's fat. Okay, I know I sound like a crazy guy right now because you're not supposed to ever criticize doctors because they're really special, bro. Your doctor's fat and he's got man boobs and he doesn't exercise. How are we taking fucking testosterone like advice from a guy who literally has low test himself? I got this test, 440, bro. I knew that was the number, and I really tried for it to not negatively affect me, because the power of belief, in my opinion, is very, very important, and you don't want to like ingrain something inside of your subconscious. I know this sounds like very pseudo-science, but I personally do believe it's very, very important. Of like how you see yourself is generally what will happen to even real things like your testosterone. So if I have the belief, okay, I've got low testosterone, you'll pick up on more of the low testosterone symptoms. Does that make sense? I know this is kind of a side tangent, but the worst thing that I could have done at the time was like really say to myself like, oh, gee whiz, I've got low testosterone, I'm gonna get all these negative symptoms. I fought against that. I used like male aggression, like this sense of like anger against it, to say like, no, fuck this. You know what? I've got high testosterone. And it's cringe as fuck, bro. I'm going to tell you the truth, right? I'm going to tell you something that's so fucking cringy, so you know that I'm not lying about this shit, because everyone's going to think I'm fucking cringe. I literally started saying into my mind, I'm an alpha male. I'm a leader. I've got high test. I've got high test. I've got high test. Everyone's going to fucking cringe. Oh, he's so cringy, bro. It worked. I just got retested. Now I've made some changes, but like, really, what have I even changed? Because when I got the original test, I was already living like a healthy life. That standard advice, everyone's like, oh, well, were you sleeping 8 hours? Were you lifting Yes, bitch, what the fuck? Yes, I was. Bro, I was on fucking self-improvement for a year and a half. I tracked my sleep relentlessly. I had like a fucking ring on 24/7 that would track my sleep, and I fully dedicated myself to it. I would go to bed at 9 p.m. every single night, full on like military routine. Were you lifting? Yes, I was, bitch. Were you getting, well, I tried getting sunlight, bro. I'm in the UK, but I was taking vitamin supplements. It's one of the best things. I mean, if you're in the fucking UK, you know, you go outside in the sun if you can, but it's not going to be enough. So I was taking vitamin D supplements, zinc supplements. You know, I did a good amount of research for this, and my numbers were low. Now I'm supposed to be fine with where I'm at. This is where most people, even people who were just agreeing with me for all this video, I'm going to start disagreeing with me. So my number now, I got tested just about a week ago. My number has increased drastically. My total testosterone is up to 734. I was visualizing 724. So that was like what I was saying to myself for the last few months, or for the last like 60 days or something. I was saying, okay, it was just the random number I made up in my mind. I was saying, I've got 724 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone. I got 734. That's a bit weird, isn't it? I literally, like, I don't know if you understand visualizations, but I literally was like, just kind of like saying, like, you know, like falsely believing to myself, yeah, I've got 724 nanoliters per, whatever the fuck the metric is. And I scored 734. And you can say, oh, well, yeah, coincidence, or pseudoscience or some shit. You can say it, and yeah, okay, it is. It is a coincidence. It is pseudoscience, but it's my benefit. So I visualized that for a while. I scored 734. My free testosterone is very high. It was on the upper end of the limit. It was above the upper end. I also got my vitamin D tested as well. That was on like the healthy range, but a bit on the lower end. It was like 30, whatever the numerical like unit was. It's probably better if it was maybe double that. 734. So that's a big increase. That's what, an increase of about 70%. There's a lot of things that go into testosterone. So 100%, that maybe the reason I'm in Thailand right now, and the extra, I mean, the sun is the vitamin D, which I got tested, and that was on the lower end. But you know, it can just be random, just fluctuations. But that's a big increase from 444. And I got tested twice, by the way. I got tested twice. And both times in October and November, I got around 400 and something. So I got tested twice. 400 was probably about the real number that I was on. And this time I got 734. Big increase. The number one thing that I changed, which I want to like really, really like drill into you, because you've watched the other videos, right? So I could make another fucking normal testosterone video, like make sure you're lifting heavy weights. I can say the same shit as everyone else, and I'll get more views if I did that. And I'll get like less criticism, because everyone's like, yep, it checks out on the research. The research says sleep. So yeah, 100% do those things. 100% sleep well. Dedicate more than 8 hours to bed. This is something I learned from the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. You have to allocate more hours to bed than you actually want to sleep. This is a quick side note, but like you'll really benefit. This could literally change your life. Everyone says, okay, get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, but sleep is not the same as hours in bed. Everyone allocates like 8 hours to bed, 7 hours to bed. If you actually like track your sleep meticulously, you'll realize that hours in bed is not the same as hours actually asleep, because you actually wake up for like a large portion of the night, like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes sometimes. So in general, you need to allocate like literally more like 9 to maybe 10 hours to bedtime to actually get around 8 hours of actual sleep. This is a quick side note. That's something I've learned, which has been very helpful. So I don't want to go over the basic advice that you've heard. You can go click on any other testosterone video and they'll tell you, you know, healthy diets and stuff. And again, 100% you should do those things. I'm going to do those things for the rest of my life. What I want to do is speak to you about the power of belief, which seems really wishy-washy. I'm not like some fucking hippie weirdo. I don't have anything to sell you. Like, you know, buy my fucking course or anything. I don't have anything to sell you. I'm just telling you what's worked for me. I'm telling you right now, I am quite like a logical, no BS kind of guy. And so wishy-washy advice, I've always hated it. And I know this is going to sound like very spiritual and wishy-washy. There is something weirdly effective about the power of like belief, like what you believe. Look, the placebo effect, you've heard that before. The placebo effect is the power of belief. Scientists, when they're trying to make like a treatment or a medication, what they do is they have to make sure that their treatment that they're trying to work on is more effective than the placebo effect. This is actually hard for them to do. It's actually like a big thing if a scientist comes out with something which is more effective than the placebo effect. The placebo effect is kind of like if you're given a pill that says, okay, it has this effect, that, it'll stop this headache or it'll make you lose weight. You're fully told by a scientist, okay, this pill will do this. You believe it. You take the pill and it has the effect. But the pill was nothing. It was like literally just like an empty pill. It didn't have medication inside of it. What you believe is extremely powerful. If you believe that you have low testosterone, and even if that's true, by the way, but if you believe that you've got low testosterone, you'll pick up on more of the symptoms because, it'll be in your mind, right? So I've got low testosterone. Every time I go to the mirror, I'll see I'm gaining more fat around my chest. I'll see I'm gaining fat around my stomach and stuff. And like my voice is going higher pitch. You pick up on those things because you believe it. But if you just suddenly almost like a dumbass, like an idiot, convince yourself, like I'm saying this in a good way, like an idiot, convince yourself that you've got high testosterone and you research some of the symptoms. So the symptoms is like, okay, well, you put on muscle mass easy and you're like, yep, I've got high testosterone. You go in front of the mirror and you're like, yeah, see, I'm putting on so much muscle mass. Wow. Like you're like making yourself believe it in a really silly, like almost like normies and Jeffries will consider this cringe, but you're doing this obviously for your own fucking benefit. And you'll pick up more on those like positive, high testosterone things inside of you. Like, oh yeah, see, my voice is deep. I know it sounds cringe, but when you keep this belief in your mind, I've got high testosterone. My testosterone is increasing. It's getting higher and higher because I'm doing the right things. It's like you'll pick up on the symptoms of higher testosterone because you're looking out for them. So you further solidify the belief. And when you further solidify the belief, it seems like your body literally reacts to it. I never do this. If you watch a bunch of my videos, I never ever link anything else in the description in terms of like resources and scientist shit. I hate doing that. I hate this culture of like we're supposed to find like sources for the shit that we talk about. I've always hated that. I just find it cringe that all these nerds are like, they'll say like, oh well, at 15 minutes you said this sentence. Can you give me a source for that? Shut the fuck up, bro. Do I look like a nerd for you? But this one time, I'm going to link something in the description. I'm going to go and find the podcast by this Dr. Andrew Huberman. He's popped off. He's a very, very good guy. He's like a very, very, very high quality podcast. He's like a big, like proper scientist, doctor kind of guy. And he talks over like a bunch of like scientific research. There is one particular study that I'm going to explain to you in my words. And I'll link the exact part where he talks about it. So if you want to listen to his sort of like proper scientist way, listen to him. If you want to listen to my sort of bro science, just dumbed down explanation, listen to me. The power of belief. Even scientists are fucking brain like there was a study that this scientist talks about and he links like the full study. Okay, a person is given 2 milkshakes. One of the milkshakes is a healthy one. It's high protein, low carbs, low fat, whatever. Right? It's really healthy. And the other milkshake is one of those like unhealthy ones, like high fat, high sugar, like really, really high calories and everything, right? They drink each milkshake. So they drink one milkshake and then their body is analyzed, like those in your body, like things change depending on the macros that you've ate. So for example, if you drink something with a lot of sugar, your insulin spikes and other hormones in your body start like going up or down. And if you drink something like protein, then like other things inside of your body, muscle protein, like all this like shit inside of your body changes depending on what you consume, right? The participant drinks the first milkshake, the protein one, and inside of the body, the protein, like whatever was inside of the milkshake has the effect on their body as assumed. They wait a little bit. The participant then drinks the second milkshake, the high sugar, high fat one, whatever, whatever was in this milkshake. They do the analysis of what's inside their body, the hormones and all this stuff. And as expected, their insulin skyrockets. Essentially, their body processed more calories because the milkshake was more calories. So far, it's common sense. They had a healthy shake and their body responded to it in a healthy way. The body got essentially healthier. They had an unhealthy shake. Their body got unhealthier. It was the same milkshake. They were given the same milkshake twice, but their body literally responded to it in a different way. They put on more calories and more fat just because they were told the second milkshake was more unhealthy. That should blow your fucking mind. Because we've been told in this modern day, trust the practical, real world scientists. Don't listen to this wishy-washy kind of pseudoscience and like imagination and visualizations. That seems very silly. And I've always, anytime someone used to talk about visualizations and affirmations, bro, I thought they were fucking dumbasses. I thought that's weird as fuck. Just get away from me with your fucking, I am a strong, confident, I always thought that was fucking cringe, bro. And now I wake up every single day. I am a strong, confident, bro. I wake up every single day literally saying to myself, yep, I'm strong and I'm confident and I've got high testosterone, please. And it fucking works. works. And there's another study that the same scientist, Andrew Huberman, I think it's in the same podcast he mentions, hotel staff, you know, the ladies who work in hotels where they'll go and like clean each room. When you really think about it, they do like an incredible amount of exercise. Imagine like an 8-hour, sometimes 10-hour shift of going through hotels, changing the bed sheets, and literally going from room to room with like a massive, like, you know, they've got those big trolleys that you can steal from every now and then. They push these big trolleys, go into the room, clean the room, mop the floors or whatever, change the bed sheet, then they go to the next room, the next room, the next room. They're literally active, like they're on their feet for literally 8 hours, right? Every single day. They're split up into 2 groups. So these hotel staff, these hotel like cleaners, they're split up into 2 groups. One group, nothing is changed. They're our control group. The other group are told just how much exercise they're actually getting. So they're sat down and they're instructed, look, you do 15,000 steps a day and you're pushing like this much of this trolley and you change the bed like this. We've estimated that your total calorie burns for the day is 700. It's way more than you thought it was. They're really told, okay, you're burning way more calories than you think you are. And then, very importantly, both groups were very controlled for their diet and their exercise outside of this study. What do you think happened? So nothing changed, literally nothing changed out of these 2 groups of women, these cleaners, apart from one was just told, yeah, you burn a lot of calories. Nothing else was changed. They fully, they controlled everything else. And of course, you can't control that one woman has like sex 5 times in one random day and she's fucking burning way more calories. Or one woman just ended up like eating less on a random day. Of course, you can't change everything. But generally, they're told this group of women burned way more fat. They lost way more weight. Simply by just being told you're burning a lot of calories. They burnt more calories. They lost more weight. The other group of women, the other group of cleaners, didn't lose any extra weight. Even though they were doing the exact same amount, they didn't lose anything extra. Simply the power of belief. The power of like new information, of being told, yep, what you're doing is going to have this effect on you, made that effect a reality. Scientists are pretty much just now really discovering the real power of belief. I hope now, after I've spoke about these 2 like studies, and I'm sure like the podcast that I'm going to link, he'll have it all, like, all the nerdy shit if you want to go like, yeah, check the sources if you're a fucking geek. But hopefully that adds some validity to what I'm saying here. The power of belief is extremely important. And once again, in terms of improving your testosterone, do the right things. Don't drink alcohol, don't eat much sugar, get some sunlight, have some competition, have sex, speak to attractive women, lift heavy weights, get good amount of sleep. Okay, we know those things. We've always known those things and no one goes any further than that. But I think the one missing key for the majority of young men, if you've been watching those videos and you've always felt like a level of like dissatisfaction because you're like, okay, I do all them, but I still feel like I've got low testosterone. The one final thing is to start utilizing the power of belief to literally like brainwash yourself to say, yep, I'm doing the right thing, so I have high testosterone. I am experiencing the symptoms of high testosterone. Look at that, some extra muscle. That's come to me because I've got higher testosterone. When you go to the gym, this is kind of separate. But when I go to the gym, me and my friend Chris back home in Warrington, we really started doing this with each other when we would literally, because we spoke about these studies and the power of belief. After we would do our workout, we would literally say to each other, bro, you smashed that bench press today. Your chest is going to get bigger. And he's like, yeah, 100%. My chest is going to get bigger because of this. And Hamza, I really saw you push hard on those tricep extensions. You went to failure, so your triceps is going to get bigger. Look, they're already bigger right now. We're almost like brainwashing each other because we understand that this is how this shit actually works. Best case scenario, this is gonna get fucking deep and sad. Best case scenario, we got hyped like this by our parents when we were like little babies and children. When you're a little child, it would have been so fucking awesome if your parents, when you did something like, okay, you just stood up, they're like, oh my God, yes, you're so strong. Look how well you're standing up. And you like catch a ball or you like throw a ball and it's a shit throw as, a little child would. But they're like, oh my God, yes, you're so good at throwing. You would have become better. Why? Because think about it. That's your caregiver. That's like, okay, the person your brain and your body is attached to. You're a little kid. That's your caregiver. That's very important, right? Well, if they're like hyping up after you've done something and saying like, you're so good at this, then you're going to be more positively encouraged to be good at it, to try it again. Because, you've just seen your caregiver smile and that does something to like a little baby. Like evolutionarily, it makes them feel really safe and loved. But if you had more critical parents, the kind of parents where when you threw the ball, we're like, no, throw it further. Come on, you can do better than that. No, that was a bad throw. That's not how you spelled that word. Well, what's that going to do to your beliefs about yourself? We can sit here and get very sad about the beliefs that we have ingrained from childhood and from our experiences in school. I think those things are very important, but all we can do, like the best thing we can do is think productively, think positively, and ask ourselves, okay, what are the best, most beneficial thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes for me to hold right now? This is very weird, specific, practical advice. These are things, like these, beliefs. The word for me, which really means a lot, is force. These beliefs, you have to force inside of yourself. Because generally, the automatic thoughts that our brain processes about ourselves aren't so positive. Generally, our brains are more critical because of things like, bad mental health and social media. And like, if you've been going to the gym for a while, but there's a billion guys who are on Instagram who've got six packs and they're always posting like towel pictures with his eyebrow like this, fucking dumbass Hamza in his stinky bathrobe. There's all these other guys, and so when you see yourself in the mirror, like, and you've been going to the gym for a while, you look like a piece of shit. And compared to other people, now of course you've made fantastic progress. You look fucking phenomenal compared to what you look like, but compared to some big bodybuilder, you look like shit. And that's the nature of social media. And so your brain processes and says, "Yep, I'm not muscular at all. In fact, my physique is actually trash compared to all these other guys that I'm seeing." Your brain's automatically visualizing against you. Your brain is automatically believing things that are bad for you. You have to consciously and almost forcefully, manually say these things. You have to like manually, as if it sounds like fucking cringe, but go look at yourself in the mirror and literally like force the words out of your mouth and literally say, "Yes, I have high testosterone. I have the symptoms of high testosterone muscle. Look at this muscle. Yeah, look at this like lower body fat. Look at like my jawline. I've got the symptoms of high testosterone because I slept really well yesterday, so I'm gonna have higher testosterone today. I hit like that really, really good leg workout today, so look at my legs. My legs are gonna grow today. I'm eating this high protein meal right now, chicken and rice. This is gonna go straight to my fucking quads and I'm gonna get bigger and stronger because of this." You process these thoughts manually, forcefully into your mind and just see what happens. Do this for the next couple of months. I know that this sounds like wishy-washy fucking stupid advice, but it truly, truly transformed my life and I will never go back to not purposely, forcefully like visualizing for myself. I really, really hope it works for you too. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.